Good evening, Sharks fans. It's another edition of Pucknology After Dark. This time, not therapy. We have a win for the first time in a little while here. We actually have a win. The Sharks defeat the Dallas Stars 5-2 on the strength of two empty netters there to kind of cap off the score, but still a solid all-around effort. Defense was a little shaky at times, but overall, I felt it was a good game. What do you think, AJ?
It was a good game. They felt like they came out definitely with a little more jump, or maybe we should say a little more urgency in their game, considering what the standings looked like when they started this game. But still, once again, the special teams battles doing them no favors. Once again, 0 for on the power play. I'm not exactly sure if with the line changes, the absolutely the throw all the names in the hat and we're going to jumble every line. But you know what? It got them a win tonight. And I don't know about you, but I'm thinking that fourth line, Hurdle, Tierney, and Desi, I think we might be seeing that on the ice for quite a while because they had a lot of jump. Obviously, responsible for some goals tonight. So I liked it. I will take it, and hopefully it's if anything between LA winning last night in Denver and then the Sharks winning in Dallas tonight, it has clearly made the outdoor games really a significant game to be interested in. I mean, when was the last time you saw an outdoor game that meant this much to both teams?
I think they've usually all meant something. It's usually between contenders, but yeah, this one definitely means a lot now. Sharks slide 2 points ahead of the Kings in the standings, though the Kings do have 3 games in hand. If they were to win on Saturday outright, they would be at 4 points, and the Kings would still have 3 games in hand, but at least with a 4 point cushion, you know, the Kings would have to go 3-0 to pass them up on those games in hand.
Well,
I
and
think, yeah,
how huge is that game at the end of the year potentially going to be?
yeah, it's all. I mean, pretty much at this point, every game for them is going to be huge, but especially anything against the Kings or for the same playoff spots. Um, I think one of the positives I saw tonight, for most, for up until they got that third goal, they were leading in shots, shot attempts, pretty much most every category. But as is typical with pretty much not just the Sharks, but any team, when you go up 2 or 3 goals, kind of lay back a little bit. The other team gets more aggressive. In the end, they ended up getting outshot and outchanced there, but I think that's partially just a product of Dallas was coming harder and they're taking more risks. But they managed to hold out until the very end. They gotten that second goal for Dallas sooner, we'd probably be talking overtime. But they got enough time there at the end or they left little enough time there for Dallas to really do anything.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed with Dallas's penalty kill, especially their first one. Man, they were hustling, they were forcing the play, they really weren't letting the Sharks get any space whatsoever. And I just kept on thinking, like, man, why can't the Sharks play like this on the penalty kill? That was one thing that definitely impressed me. Um, I'm a little surprised they pulled Letton in, to be honest, but
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I don't know why they. I mean, my only guess is the switch of for Lettinen for. I'm blanking on his name, but my only guess is maybe
Enroth.
other dude could get to the bench faster. Maybe that's my only guess. Yeah, because like I didn't see any other reason why they would do that. It didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. That's interesting though. Dallas is ranked 21st in penalty killing. Like honestly, yeah, their penalty kill looked good to me, but then I guess also might just be a byproduct of the Sharks' power play not being all that crisp. Going 0 for 2 again tonight. Um, I'd have to look at the last couple games, but I think they're probably in a pretty bad slump right about now. I know at one point they were the #1 overall power play, and they've slipped all the way down to number 7.
Yeah.
in the last month or so. So it's definitely not where it should be. It's I mean, it's just the execution's not there. I mean, most of the chances in that first power play came from the second unit. Like the first unit just didn't do anything for how skilled and how good that first unit is. They just haven't been getting a lot of quality chances lately.
Yeah. Well, uh, who would you rather be? Would you rather be Dallas, who's just kind of lulled over the last 15 years, but have a cup, or do you want to go to the playoffs for 10 years in a row and never get one? So
Uh,
I'd rather have the cup, but what are you going to do?
I'd rather have the cup, but I mean, there's no guarantees either way. We don't get to make that choice, unfortunately. We just kind of have to accept what we get. But it's honestly, I said I was being a little bit cup half full the last couple games. I saw a better effort the last couple games. I thought, in spite of the score against both Nashville and against Tampa Bay, I thought the effort was considerably better. Both those games, though, they let in one bad goal or one bad play or something, and then they just let it snowball out of control. Like, this is a game where it was like, what happens if they let in a goal? Because it was like when that first goal went in for Dallas, like, are they going to suddenly let Dallas just run Ruckshaw over them? Because I mean, they went up on. Remember, did they score first against Tampa Bay or did they score second? I think they let.
No. Tampa scored first. They scored with like 15 seconds left in the first period.
Okay, yeah. I remember though they had a pretty good start against Tampa, and they scored first against Nashville. And in both cases though, like once play started going against them, they just kind of let it just steamroll them. They didn't, they couldn't stop it. So that it was good to see that when Dallas started punching back, they took some of the punches. They took some hits, but they didn't start just collapsing and or what's your expression? The tortoise shell, I think is what it is, right?
No, that's the perfect name for it. And you know what? For tonight, huge props, kudos, whatever you want to call it, to Niemi. He kept them. For tonight, he kept them in there. I got to give credit where credit is due. Nemo has been very unremarkable as of late, and tonight he had a very solid game. So it was nice to see that. It makes you wonder if it was sitting against Nashville and having the time to just stare and see what Renee was doing. Does it have anything to do with the trade talks? Either way, it worked out really well for Nemo. I was pretty impressed with a lot of his stuff early on. There's a couple times he left the back door wide open, and Dallas wasn't able to tally a marker. But big kudos to Niemi, and hopefully we see that same play from him on Saturday night outdoors. And speaking of that, actually, we to go to one of our first tweets from Bleeding Teal. They're asking, they're assuming that we've seen the 3 Epics outdoor game episodes. Now, I know the last time we talked about it, you hadn't seen any, and neither had I. Actually, I watched all 3 yesterday. And
I watched all 3 yesterday too, actually.
Oh, okay, there you go. Okay, so the question being, and just to let you know, I don't know, I can't speak for Chris, but for me, I just sped through all the LA stuff. I just watched the Shark stuff. So anyway, the question is, how vocal? I'm sorry, I have to read this question correctly. It's what was for each of us? What was the bigger surprise to you, to me? How vocal Pavelski was in that last episode, and I'm assuming they're speaking specifically about him in the locker room, or I'm sorry, dressing room, and how silent Marlowe and Thornton were, and we're not in the dressing room. We're not in there. We're not a fly in the wall. Maybe to the team, maybe they're already seeing it that this is Pavelski's team. But I will say I'm not surprised to see Marlowe quiet. He's always been quiet. and we've always seen it from Thornton, where it's like it's always, oh well, we'll get him next time. It's always, we'll get him next time, and there's another day, tomorrow's a new game, but, you know, Thornton, everything rolls off his back. So I'm more surprised that Pavelski really laid into him, and quite happily surprised about that. What about you?
So for me, I think one, we're seeing clips, so we're not seeing everything that's happening there. As you mentioned, also though, I think it is becoming Pavelski's team in a lot of ways. Even though Thornton Marlowe still have big roles, I think it is becoming his team. A third thing, though, to me, like, this is something that's always bugged me because like like for me in my job and workplace, we always talk about leadership, but it's not always the most dominant, loudest talking person in the room. It's there's people who lead really well by setting a great example by doing this. I mean, I think especially in sports, the lead by example stuff is underrated. I mean, take like Kobe Bryant for example. Okay, he does talk, but mostly he works his ass. I mean, that's his thing. He works his ass off. He was Mr. Cold-Blooded Killer. He was known more for giving his teammates the cold shoulder when he didn't think they were doing good than delivering fiery speeches. So I think it's one of those things. It's a little but I was glad to see that though. I was really happy to actually see Pavelski's really taking that kind of the mantle there. At least from what we can see. I didn't speed through all the LA parts though. I kind of maybe glazed over a bit. It's like, oh great, another thing about Drew Doughty. Fuck him.
Yeah, well, like I said, I really didn't watch any of the LA stuff. But for me, I was really impressed and happy with the way Pavelski kind of took charge of the room, and it definitely needed it. You're sometimes when you hear it from someone that you're playing next to versus having your coach bark at you will make a difference. And coming from somebody a different perspective, what have you, but it definitely made a difference to the team. It felt like, and of course Pavelski going out there and putting up a hat trick to getting that first goal and putting up that hat trick, that was huge. And I'm real interested to see the final episode of it, especially if the Sharks are victorious.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. So, transitioning to another topic here, and this is something I was kind of going off a bit on Twitter about, but I'm kind of perplexed by the way we're developing Mirko Mueller here. It feels to me like we're almost setting him up to be another defenseman flaw in the way we're handling this. There's like, between pairing him with Hannon, Irwin, or Burns when he's actually playing, like those are guys that are not gonna you probably want to pair him with someone who can actually not hang him out to dry a lot. But and then we scratch him for 2 straight months, and now we scratched him again tonight. And at this point, we've already burned a year on his entry-level deal. The clock's ticking now. My understanding is we can send him down to the CHL, but we'd still have to pay him exactly like he's playing up here. But would it almost be better to send him there? Like I'm just a lot of thoughts there. What do you kind of think about how we're handling this? I just kind of think it's kind of perplexing to me how we're doing this.
No, I completely agree with you. I'm quite perplexed with that. Then again, I'm also kind of perplexed with the handling of Tennyson. I'm trying to figure out how Hannon, aside from the quote unquote veteran leadership, been there, done that kind of thing. He's very slow. He's made a lot of mistakes this year, and I would have thought that Tennyson would have made a higher ranking on the totem pole than Hannon. But no, I completely agree with Mueller. I think they should have given him Just left him in Worcester this season, let him get his legs under him. And it's like you said, with what he's being paired with, when someone gives you a box of crap, what are you supposed to do with it? And it reminds me the same. Well, it reminds me also of a lot of people they kind of shit on Desjardins, but you look at who he's had to play with. His line mates are constantly getting changed, and then he's got to play with the likes of John Scott. I think Desi is a better player than he's given credit for, but how are we supposed to see that when his line mates are usually the bottom of the barrel and are constantly rotating? How do you find the time to build chemistry with somebody?
Yeah, I think Desjardins been a pretty solid pivot down there. I mean, he's constantly had change and then had to drag the likes of John Scott and Mike Brown around the ice. My understanding, as far as how things can go, he can't go to Worcester this season due to age. He has to be 1 year older. I'm not sure the origin of that rule, but unless conditioning assignment, he can't be assigned down there. But he can be assigned to his CHL team. But again, we'd still be paying him like he was in the big league. But once again, would he be better off spending some games up in Everett there? I mean, it's only an hour and a half flight away. If we had an emergency, let him actually get the time, because right now he's just seeing the press box, and we've burned, at this point, we've officially eaten to his entry-level deal. At this point, it's already burned, so either should be playing him here or playing him there, whereas he's just gaining experience in wearing a suit in the press box. It doesn't seem like a good way to develop your first-round pick.
Well, and especially, let's see what happens next season. If he comes in with some experience, I think we're all of the assumption that Hannon is gone after this season, so that clearly opens up a hole, but we have no idea what's going to happen in this offseason. Maybe Doug Wilson pulls another rabbit out of his hat and gets. And I'm just throwing a name out there, so everybody don't start telling me oh, dude, I'm an idiot for the Sharks will never get him. But I'm just saying, for some reason the Sharks pull Ekman Larson out of their ass, or we all saw the best phony tweet ever about getting Fleury and Ehrhoff for Niemi, Irwin, and Hannon. That was awesome. But
it fooled Pierre McGuire even, right?
I think so. So anyway, for shits and giggles, but it'll never. I just don't. Why, when you've had nothing but talk about the youth movement, rebuilding, or whatever, why would you go get an aged out defenseman who you've already gotten rid of once? So it
would be the most Sharks move ever. If we did make a trade at the deadline, I would fully expect it to be for something that wouldn't help us very much.
Well, and it's not as if the Sharks have a history of bringing back former players. Oh, wait a minute.
Well, we do have a habit of bringing back our defensemen 5 or so years later.
Well,
we do have that track record.
That's what I'm saying. Hannon, Stewart, Jeff Norton. For Pete's sakes. So anyway, the one thing though that I did think was interesting, that I saw on a quote from either Pollock or Kurz, one of the beat guys, that when asking Niemi if he'd like to stay in San Jose after this year, apparently his reply was, "Yeah, sure." Now, I don't know. Obviously, when it's in print, you can't tell if he's going, "Yeah, sure," or "Yeah, sure." Yeah, but it just makes you wonder how enthusiastic he is about staying with this team, especially when you look at his history, where he's been a good goalie, a serviceable goalie, not great by any stretch. He's been serviceable. He's done better than average. But when you're hearing your name in trade rumors and you're still living in, arguably, you're still living in Nabby's shadow, Uh, maybe he does think it's time to move on. Who knows? I just thought that was a, a curious response, but as I said, it's in print. I would have loved to hear the soundbite of it.
Yeah, without the soundbite, I really can't get anything from that because, yeah, like I said, it could be two completely different ways.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely not definitive either way. One point that L. Bryan brought up, very good point, is that Mueller is, learning with Robinson and he's practicing with the big team. Fair point, but I still think we want him to be out on the ice, whether it's here or in the minors. Get him reps. I mean, because I think the biggest issue I've seen with him is he's not always super decisive with his decision making, and I don't think that's going to get better without playing in games. That's my opinion though. So trade deadline though, that is coming up pretty quick here. I believe we have another week and a half. The trade deadline, if I remember right, is the 2nd or the 3rd, so we have about a week and a half until that happens. What? 2 weeks?
Yeah, no, it's the second. It's the second. So we've got, we're essentially looking at about 10 days.
Yep, so about 10 days, yep. And then it's probably nothing going to happen for the Stadium Series, probably.
Yeah, it's a week from this Monday. So are we going to see, the frenzy build up, and we're going to start seeing some moves this week? It's going to be a tough call. The thing that I think is really actually going to hurt the Sharks in this regard is the fact that they've got so much time off between the Stadium game and their following game. If I recall correctly, they play this. Thursday. Yeah, they play Saturday, and then they essentially have 5 days off. So with that, it would have been nice to get another game in there. Who knows, they have 3 games before the deadline.
So also all these teams that are right around the thick of it with them, a lot of them have games in hand. So a lot of that time is going to let some of those games play out, and then we'll see where the standings sit then. So we'll have a much better idea. So it might actually give us a better perspective on the deadline if the teams are more neck and neck in terms of games played.
So I guess Eric maybe is not going to make it tonight, or were we hoping to get a live shot? Would he be joining us from Levi Stadium with his live report?
I believe so, yeah, because he was out there. Brody Brazil was very, very jelly, as you could tell, of all the media skating on the ice. And our Pucknology After Dark's own Eric was out there skating on the ice surface. I am, in fact, also very jelly. I know Brody Brazil was jelly.
I think we're all pretty green.
So, real quick, kind of breaking, kind of totally away from format here, but some breaking news in Bay Area sports right now. So, it sounds like Bruce Bochy was sent to the hospital with a heart issue. But
wow.
It sounds like he's resting comfortably right now, so it's maybe not as serious as initially sounds, but just, FYI, for those of you who follow more than just the Sharks, send your positive thoughts in the direction of Bruce Bochy. Hopefully everything's all right. We'd definitely like to see them win in an odd year this year for once.
Yeah, no kidding. Wow. Well,
I just brought the mood way down right there.
No. It's good thoughts thoughts and prayers for the skipper. I've got I have my championship towel from the World Series still, so good thoughts to him. I honestly, when you were saying breaking news, I was like, oh man, he's not bringing up the fucking Chargers and the Raiders moving to LA, is he?
Oh, another rumor about that. Yeah, I saw that.
No, rumor. They've put out a press release and everybody's reporting on it. I don't think this is a rumor. I think this is quote unquote Plan B. So Uh, okay, Eric is tweeting us. All he tweeted us was nothing, and I'm on Wi-Fi. So clearly, using Google Hangouts on a phone has perplexed him. I'm not sure what's going on. He was able to pull it off a couple times at the Shark Tank, so I'm not sure what's going on. But
Occasionally, he's technologically challenged. You know, that's technology is my department. And oddly enough, I'm the only one who hasn't done my part from the seat, loaded up a few IPAs.
well, what? How do you feel about that? With it, just for shits and giggles, let's say that in 3 years or whatever, the Raiders move and the Chargers move to a stadium in LA, where they're going to move to a town that has not had baseball, has not had football for 20 years, and clearly doesn't give a shit that they haven't had it for those 20 years. So it, it makes me.
It's going to work out as well as it did the first time. LA is a front runner town. They'll be. I mean, you know, said nobody wore Kings jerseys until about 3 years ago. So.
Yeah. I mean, I'm one of the. I'm a Niner fan, but I'm not a Raider hater. I just, you know, it's like it's.
Right here.
See, I don't care enough to hate the team. It's, you know, I've got a couple fans that are Raider fans, and that's fine. We razz each other a little bit from time to time, but I just, you know, I don't pay attention. I don't care enough. If they're gone, they're gone. So be it. Whatever. If anything, it would probably obviously help the Niners a little bit, because if you need your fix to see a live football game, well, they're going to be your only professional option.
Like I really want to see the Niners getting their pockets lined right about now.
That is true. That's a really good point. But okay, we're getting way off.
We're getting off in the weeds here.
We're starting to sound like that FM sports station where it says nothing but football. Everything ends up as football.
Fueled by football. Speaking of that FM sports station, so I don't know. I was actually listening a little earlier today in the car. So it's pretty much the only time I ever listened to that station, or KMBR either for that matter, because, you know, no Sharks at all. But they apparently will be doing a broadcast live from Levi's Stadium around 3 o'clock on Saturday. I didn't say how long it's going to be, but I assume at least an hour or two. It's going to be Rick Tittle and Roxy Bernstein, and I guess Bertie Brazil will be guesting as well. So there is that. I mean, that is something. So,
okay, yeah.
For those of you who don't know who I'm talking about, I'm referring to 95.7 The Game, 95.7 FM. I rarely plug them, but apparently on Saturday they are doing a 3 o'clock to whenever Sharks oriented show. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just get a huge laugh out of that. The fact that they completely ignore the Sharks for the vast majority. They didn't have Brody on to do a spot about the Sharks until I think Game 51 had been played. They were already 4 months into the season. They hadn't paid attention to them at all. And what's funny is, okay, they're running ads for their this pregame leading up to the Stadium Series, as you're mentioning. Now, the thing that is really making me laugh about that is that I just now checked their Facebook page. There is a zero mention of it. There's 27 different mentions over the last, 18 hours about their retarded morning show doing, remotes from random breakfast places, but zero mention of them doing anything remotely having to do with the Sharks. I haven't even checked their Twitter, but I'm sure it's the same thing on there. So they're going to roll some commercials that they're having they're going to do a 2-hour pregame leading up to. Well, you know what? What the fuck else did they have to put there? Honestly, what else were they going to put there? They were going to simulcast ESPN stuff or whatever their affiliate is. That's all they were going to do anyway. So really, me, I take that shit personally, that they just ignore the team. So to me, it's that whole, you know what, too little, too late. You weren't on the wagon in October. There's no fucking room for you now in February. So get the hell out of here. Just kiss my ass. Because the thing that really, it's going to be one of those things that as soon as they get to the playoffs, they're the first ones telling you how much they're Sharks fans. But get the fuck out of my face with that. Just you get you know what? You got me into a rant. You did it.
The biggest Sharks fan on either station is Tom Tolbert.
Yeah.
As far as the full-time lineup goes, that guy actually does watch the games even in early October.
Well, either way, it's funny. You got me in rant mode, so that was good. What's really funny though is that Bleeding Teal is now tweeting to Eric if Eric can be located, the Bleeding Teal will provide assistance on how to use the internets. So, thank you very much. We appreciate that. No, AJ is ranting about 95.7 the game, not KMBR. I don't have any issues with KMBR per se. Tolbert has always been a Sharks guy. He'll talk Sharks from the beginning to the end. Even Gary Radnich had Drew Remenda on a couple times this season. They've talked Sharks. The guy, Gary Radnich, the guy, when everybody has ever said the San Jose Sharks, he's always the first one to say nobody cares. He's actually talked a decent amount of Sharks this season. So kudos to them. 95.7. It's that just the fact that they're owned, that the company that owns 95.7 also owns KFox. This is your sister station. You have plenty of access, and the thing that I think is so great is they're at the Warriors. They. I don't know so much this season, but I remember last season the afternoon show. I guess maybe it was before Damon Bruce, maybe it was Townsend or whatever. But I remember they would do like 3 or 4 remotes a month at Oracle for Warriors games. Since 95.7 has been on the air, for the regular season, they've done 1 remote at the Shark Tank. And this is your sister state. Like I said,
was at the playoffs. Well, okay, they're not just sister
stations. No, it wasn't at the playoffs.
I've actually been in the I've been to the complex there, the radio complex. I've been there. They are not only sister stations, but literally the 95.7 studios are actually a music. They're adapted like a music studio because it was from the Wolf, and literally adjoining 1 room over is the KFox studio. Like there's a wall separating them. They aren't just sister stations; they are a wall apart. But yes, we should probably not go too far down this rabbit hole because it's a whole different thing. But
either way, bottom line is they have the ability to do it. They just don't do it. There has literally been 1 remote during the regular season because I was actually at that game. Yeah, they can. You know what? Just show them 10%, 15% of the coverage that they give the Warriors, and I'd be a happy guy. But that'll never happen. So, I'm in rant mode. Okay, got to get out of rant mode. Everybody's telling me I'm in rant mode. Okay, let's get off this. But I'm being told that I am right, though, so that's all right.
Well, I mean, for the most part, yeah, you're fairly correct there. Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, so they pulled out a nice win, as you stated. I even like their hustle in the Washington game. I think we're all of the like-minded in that they kind of got ripped in that game, especially when the referee picks off your defenseman. But since that game, it seems like the intensity has gotten better and better and better. It's just it's solving those defensive miscues, communicating, and it seemed like they got a lot better tonight. Once again, big kudos to Nemo. I don't know that he stole the game, but he definitely had one of his better performances tonight, and hopefully we'll see more of that because how bad do the Sharks really, really want to win this game on both teams? How bad do they want to win a game on the national stage, and one that means so much at this point?
Well, at this point also, I think, to me, like, I think the Sharks are going to miss the playoffs. But I think the most important thing to me is it needs to be a good game. Win or lose for the Sharks, they can't go out there and get embarrassed. If they lose, it needs to be a close game. If they win, honestly, I want it to be a good game. Like, let's put California hockey on display. I think it is a little bit troubling of a trend, though, that in a lot of our recent, in the handful of recent victories we've seen, a lot of them have come on the backs of great goaltending performances. Chicago comes to mind. I mean, that was only one, two. That's only 3 wins back. Like that wasn't even that long ago. But you remember that whole sequence where Niemi just stonewalled. I believe that was at Sharp or Taves. I believe that's Taves. But a lot of our victories have come on the back of just insane goaltending performance. And I think it's more tonight. Niemi was on point and our defense was doing their job. Like it's still a huge problem is that the defense just doesn't. It always starts in the neutral zone where you see a lot of those kind of like people aren't always sure of their assignments and someone gets behind someone and pick up their man or they allow too much room. That's been the worrisome thing for a while now is the defense in transition. It starts there, and by the time it gets in front of the net where they take their shot, there it is. Yeah.
Well, let's get into a couple of the little bites to tonight's broadcast. What the hell with the frickin' guy holding the goddamn gnome up against the glass? I don't know what the hell that was about.
That was the Travelocity gnome. One of their sponsors.
You had this gnome there. Then you've got the guy who looks straight up like J.R. Ewing, hat, glasses, jacket, and all. And then, thirdly, this jerk-off douchebag who's behind the net that the Sharks attack or the Dallas attacks twice. But tonight in a I believe like a tan blazer and a green shirt, jumping up like a 12-year-old at a One Direction concert, just bouncing all around. And what's funny is Ruthless even commented to me when I was tweeting about it that that guy's there all the time. And I remember this jerk off a couple seasons ago. I remember specifically watching a game against Dallas, and any time the puck was within 20 feet of Dallas's net, I'm sorry, the net that the Sharks are defending, this guy is banging around on the glass like a monkey in a cage. And you can hear it. If the one guy who actually bought that Shake My Couch thing, he must have been losing his shit over there because it's just and you're like, what is this guy on? That's the only fun thing about playing games in Dallas is getting to see the best of what Dallas has to offer in the way of fans, and it's not a whole hell of a lot, but it's fun to look at.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, it was more annoying in past seasons. I was like, God, shut up! Like, it was like the freaking Tasmanian devil behind the boards or some shit. I mean, yeah. But how empty was the stands there? I mean, did you see that? Like, even before the Sharks were up, the stands were pretty empty. Like, for a team that's supposed to be in the playoff hunt. I mean, we have problems selling out. At least our lower bowl is not half empty.
Yeah, I was a little surprised by that. Typically, I thought the Sharks have generally drawn well, but from what I understand, the Stars this season have they've been on a kind of a downward slope when it comes to their attendance.
Been a few years. I know at least like the last couple of years when we've gone there. It's the lower bowl's been pretty spotty. I know at one point I almost had a chance to go there and possibly go to see Shark Stars, but it didn't work out timing-wise, at least as far as my one of my many work flights. I was trying to see if I could set up my layover in Dallas, be able to spend the day there and then leave that night, but didn't work out. But the tickets would have been like $10 for lower bowl. I shit you not. I was really disappointed.
I don't think those are Crocs. They look like slippers, but I didn't see any Crocs.
Yeah, these are my wife's slippers. Thank you very much. I am married, so I have the get out jail free card on that stuff.
No, you know what though? Those isotoners, those look like some pretty comfy slippers, bro.
Exactly.
Uh-oh.
Fucking
You know what? Look at this. It's Eric calling me.
Oh.
you talk
Live
for a
and
minute.
direct from Levi Stadium. We now take you to our correspondent, Eric.
You talk. Hold on.
Or I can just talk. So, by the way, Cujo, this is for you just generally for being an asshat the other night, starting that whole thing with what's her name. And, yeah, I was like, dude, I was on call at work that week. So AJ and porn star lady go back and forth on Twitter there for a while and keep making my phone go off. I can't mute my phone because because I was on call, so I have to be able to hear it and wake up. I couldn't get to sleep. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for starting that. I know that was you who started that, Cujo. So, fuck you very much. You're the reason I got like 3 hours of sleep that night. And it's just me, so I don't even know. They're apparently having a very lovely conversation down there. Actually, no, yeah, you guys can't see what I can see here. I can see AJ chatting him up on the phone. So, yes, indeed, the wife does win the night. She's, yeah. Yes, and I blame Hannon as well. I did love that tweet from her. That was like some of the effect of, he still knows how to score. Honestly, at the time, that was brilliant on her part.
Okay, so if you can, I guess, email the link to Eric or resend it or something. I don't know. For some reason, trying to get through it from Twitter wasn't working for him, so.
Okay, I'll send him the invite once more, but I was explaining to Cujo how he's an asshole for starting that whole thing with porn star lady the other night. I don't recall her name, but where you guys were going back and forth, and like I'm on call, so I couldn't mute my fucking phone,
Oh,
and
dear
you
Lord.
guys kept like every 5 minutes, dink. It's like, God, and my wife's ready to kill. My wife was ready to kill me that night. She's like, what's going on? Like, I can't mute my phone. I'm on 24-hour on call this week.
Yeah, that was kind of a jerk move. But check this out. Breaking news. Who sent it? We got to credit this for. Okay. Oh, typical. Generation X-Wing, my man. Dude, that jerk off bouncing around like a 12-year-old at a One Direction concert, I have just gotten a hold of this guy's Twitter feed. His name on there is, he has his username just like, there are people like, there's your username and then what it says. There's people that have it. It's like at Brody, or okay, I got to use something else, but it'll say, like at Vlasic44, but the name says Mark Edward Vlasic. So this guy is at NM Morrock, whatever, but his name on there is Stars Glassbanger. What a jerk off!
Wow.
What a jerk
why
off!
didn't you just like have it at Star's douchebag or something? So, I mean, we all know who the glass banger is, but I mean, like, let's just like boil it down another level to what we all know it is. Like at Star's glass douchebag. I mean, I come up with a lot of great. I mean, if I care enough, I'd start a Twitter parody account, but I run enough of those already.
What a jerk off, man! It's like the fact that he takes pride in that all he does, his whole thing in life is to bang on the glass. Like essentially, you might as well just put as your name worst fan in all of hockey. I mean, nobody likes the guy who bangs on the glass. Nobody.
I know. I come up with one. If I was a season ticket holder again, I could be Sharks Tank Leaner. As in the douchebag who leans forward.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. That's a good one.
Yeah.
All right. We don't have any douchebags that I know of that bang on the glass do anything particularly annoying.
Yeah.
At Cujo knows at Star's attention whore. Yep, that works too.
Yeah. Holy crap. I just don't understand how you get off on being a jerk off. But hey, stranger things have happened.
Yeah, what can you do? So what did Eric have to say?
He's trying, man. He was just basically saying that the link wasn't working. that it kept on. He was trying to use the link, and it would send him to the App Store instead of just opening the actual app. So, like I said, maybe it was a function with Twitter, whatever. That's why I said email it to him or try again, whatever. He got it to work a couple other times, so I don't know what's going on.
So I'll leave it all in the chat. You know, if you have any questions, ideas, topics, when there's just two of us, we run through them a hell of a lot faster than we do with three people. So
yeah,
by all means, shoot them off at us here, and be nice to each other. I see y'all. Actually, no, don't be nice to Cujo. Fuck him. He's a Kings fan.
You know what's great is Generation X-Wing just sent me a photo that apparently he doesn't bang on the glass anymore. He just holds up a fucking sign that says "bang" on it, which I'm assuming that's because the other fans around him said, "Stop making us look bad, you jerk off." Ugh.
Bang on it. That was like the Scott Hammond motto at one point, right? Hey,
hey,
Stars, Glass Banger, yeah.
What a tool.
Can we get her as a guest on the show sometime? Like,
what a fucking tool, man. I can't even. Okay, so someone's mentioning, Drew is mentioning that if you can send it via Google Hangouts. I guess you're the one that runs the ship, so yeah. I have no idea.
I did try that. I'm not sure what's going on there.
So we've covered the troll tweet about the trade with the Pens. That was I don't even know what the hell that was about. So what did you think about the lines tonight? The completely jumbled lines. I mean, Pavs with Couture and Wingles, and Marlowe skating with Thornton and Carlson. And let's get into Carlson for a second. This is a guy that everybody was talking about 3 weeks ago, that this is the best thing that the Sharks have done, and what a great pickup, and this guy. And then it's just been right down, like, what happened to you, bro? I mean, nobody expects everybody to play at that high of a level for a real long time, but it's let's
not forget Carlson. Like, he scored 5 of his 9 goals all in 5 games, or I think it's 5 games, right? But he scored 5 of them like in a very short period of time. So,
but
he was going to come down to earth, at some point here. So I mean, it's partially coming down to earth. I mean, it was not going to keep. Partially, he's going to hit dry spells too. And he's playing big minutes up there with them. I don't, will ultimately he be okay? I don't know, but I'd give him more time because it's your favorite thing. Small sample size.
Sample size.
But you know what I mean though. Like you can have, and especially a young player, you're going to have your ups and your downs, especially if you're talking about scoring. That's just how that goes.
Well, and speaking of young players, why do you assume Goodrow appears to be in the doghouse lately? He was getting a real long look for a long time, and now he's been scratched for a few games. Makes me wonder if he's maybe nursing something that they're not disclosing, or it's just a case of they want to get other guys in. Who knows? I'm based on the history that T-Mac has shown, is when something starts working, he'll stick with it until it stops working, and then he'll immediately reshuffle the deck. So I would imagine
until it stops working and then stick with it some more. Like,
well, you know what I mean. It's sometimes not everything's going to work, all the time. So sometimes if it gets a little tough, you just got to ride it out, and it'll get better. I'm assuming that these are the lines that we will maybe start the LA game off with, and if T-Mac doesn't like what he sees, then you go back to the tried and true of Thornton, Pavs, and Carlson, and Marlowe, Couture, and Nieto, blah blah blah. I'll be interested to see how that works out.
I'm gonna guess this will probably be the first game we'll see John Scott in the lineup, because LA is so physical, and therefore we need someone out there who can't do anything other than
I think that's lame. I think Desjardins should be able to fill that role. He's a tough guy, and he actually has some offensive. He scored.
Yeah, exactly.
He put in as many goals tonight as Scott has had this entire season.
Like I can get with a tough customer, but he's got to be able to bring something. Like I love Klo, but he got more than just fighting and physicality.
Exactly.
He also he could snipe, he could help set guys up. He could he was great at cycling and cycling the puck in the corner and all that. I think one of the interesting things to me tonight was when it all shook out, the lines, the minutes by line kind of worked out from top to bottom. First and second line played relatively the same amount of time when you adjust for power play time. The third line played the next amount of time, and then the fourth line played the least amount of time. But
interestingly enough, the fourth line got some of the best chances and best looks.
Yeah. Well, I'll note though, at the time when we went up 3-0, the fourth line had played a couple more minutes than the third line. So at that time, they had played more minutes. So they were rolling a lot more as the hot hand. And I think the main reason why the third line ended up outpacing them in the end is because I think McClellan, with a 3-0 lead, you're going to play all your lines, you're going to shuffle, you're going to keep everyone fresh, right? So that's the normal behavior of how that goes. So I think ultimately that probably evened it out to a large extent in how the minutes were distributed. But to me, this is kind of the benefit of having two good lines in your bottom six. If you have two capable lines that can both score, because both those lines, third line didn't do a lot tonight, but it had at least enough talent that it could have its night. And
maybe
the fourth line, but in the case where you have two lines like that down there, you can go and give the heavier minutes to the line that's night versus if you have a third line that's maybe hot, maybe cold, and you have a fourth line that's just, they're going to go out there and maybe fight a few people and just get hemmed in their zone and give up a bunch of chances. Like, I know some people value physicality a lot more than I do, but to me, if the price of being more physical comes where you're giving up, 2 shot attempts for every shot attempt you put out there as a line, that's not worth it because you're going to get scored on.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that. I think the key, it's not so much going to be about the forwards because you can change that up on the fly. It's all about minimizing the defensive miscues, making sure those guys communicate, and getting another great game from Niemi like we got tonight. One of the chatters has retweeted from Andrew Baggerly regarding Bochy is that Bochy has confirmed that he is in good spirits and he shall return in a couple of days. So spring training will bring the Bochman back soon. So that's good news for you San Francisco Giants fans. For you A's fans, and I won't name names, but you know who you are, particularly one of you, that, anytime something bad happens with the Giants, they equate it to an A's victory. I'm not really sure how that works out, but either way, sorry to burst your bubble. Sorry to burst your bubble. Just take it easy. Enjoy your athletics.
Don't go busting out the Ice Cube meme.
Yeah.
You know who you are.
We all know who it is.
Yeah, Drew here. Carlson scored 6 of his goals in the first 8 games. So yeah, I remember it was like a lot of those came in a relatively short span, which, scoring by nature is just very streaky. Like most all scorers tend to get their goals in clumps, but that's a pretty extreme example of a clump where there's a lot of things at once. So I hope Carlson gets back on track, but I think part of it is it set the expectations way up here. Was like maybe it's similar to what Hurdle's going through right now. Like he's not, he has not been the light the world on fire Hurdle he was a year ago, but also like that probably wasn't going to be the Hurdle we would have seen. Even if Dustin Brown, asshole, had not need him, screw you, so Cujo. But even if Dustin Brown hadn't needed him, he probably would have had a little bit of a lull there and probably would have slowed down his pace. That's just that's how scoring goes. It's just streaky by nature. But hopefully he can get it going again. I mean, he's there with the right guy on the right line to do it.
Yeah, and we are seeing some quotes from the post-game presser. Of course, Vlasic stating that it's going to be a nice plane ride home tonight, and tomorrow should be relaxed because now it's a fact that they get to go into this big game not being on a 3-game losing streak. They're coming off a win, so that'll be nice. And McClellan stated that he doesn't think the guys have looked forward to practice as much as they are looking forward to tomorrow. And so thinking they should have some good energy for their practice tomorrow, and I would imagine everybody's going to be full of adrenaline on Saturday night with the spectacle and pageantry of it all. Hey.
So the milk is going sour. Hey-o.
Hi-yo.
Thank you, Generation X-Wing, for that one.
Yes. Oh, and for those of you who do watch, we should do a little PR. For those of you who watch, please hit the subscribe button down there. We appreciate that, and follow us on Twitter. We actually had some. There was a picture that was tweeted out earlier today of the shark. For those of you who don't know, the shark head, of course, has been relocated from SAP Arena or the Shark Tank to Levi's for our big stadium game, and there was a picture taken of our lovely COO of the Sharks, John Tortora, the guy that we all know that nothing good has come from him being involved with this team whatsoever. And it turned, thanks to Gen X-Wing, it turned into a lovely story of who could come up with the best memes. So hopefully you followed us, or you follow us and take a look at our timelines. I would throw up a picture real fast, but I actually don't have one in front of me. However, I do have one that I did specifically for Brody that I just was going to have too much fun with not to do. So here you go. That's the Chris. Do you see a sign by any chance?
I don't.
Nothing coming. Oh, it's still me. Oh, okay, I thought there was a way to share this. Oh, do you see it now by any chance?
Yeah, I see it now. It's a little bit cut off there.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not. But I basically took the sign that he held up that said "Brody stinks" and put "Fire John Tortora." I thought it was funny.
I also dropped in the chat there the meme generator deal I made. memegenerator.net/scumbag-Tortora. I put in the chat there. I made a few ones on that thing. You can also find one that I put on memegenerator.net called "Good Guy Sharks." It's Patrick Marlowe as Good Guy Greg. But
yeah, so that way
we like our Sharks memes here.
Yes, you too can join in on the fun. Go follow us, because especially when we get into a meme. Once we get our hands on get a hold of a good meme, we're like a pit bull with a chew toy. We won't let it go until we've driven it into the ground. And today we had a really good time driving this one into the ground.
Yeah. Also, on the subject of the shark head being moved, if you go on the Sharks Facebook page, they had an awesome video on there, like taken from a couple different perspectives. One of them is of the actual shark head on the back of the truck as it was being moved along the freeway and everything. It wasn't a time lapse or anything, but it was pretty cool though.
Yeah, I think I saw a couple tweets where you can see it, I think it was tooling down 87 or something, and that was kind of cool.
Yep.
I got a kick out of it. What can I say? Oh, okay. Now we found it. At least we've gotten closer to our what we're going for. Did you notice the tweet with the football helmet?
No, I didn't catch that.
Oh, you didn't catch the football helmet. You gotta.
Which tweet with the football helmet?
Well, apparently there's some sort of website or Photoshop group or whatever that says send us a team or whatever of you think that whatever you think that they play one sport, and how cool would it look if they played a different sport. So that gave us the San Jose Sharks football helmet, and it's kind of like, well, how cool would that look on the football field during the Stadium Series game? I thought that was kind of neat.
Except for the part that it has a freaking hockey stick in its mouth.
Well, yeah, what are you gonna
Like
do?
you need to have it like crushing a football or something.
Yeah, but you know what though? That hockey stick, it's deflated.
Oh yeah, we slightly deflate our hockey sticks. Yes. Dude, this is the funny thing to me is like whenever I hear like tune in the radio and they're talking NFL still, like the NFL is just a 300 like we have to talk about it, it's a 365 day a year thing. It's just so interesting. And like I here today, they're talking about fucking 40 times at the combine and deflated footballs. Like, yeah, it's a 365 day year. It's just so fucking interesting.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But the meme that I was talking about is this photo right here. Obviously, because it's cut off, you can't see what it says, but it essentially said, one is a menacing terror that destroys anything in its path. The other is the shark. So that was my little joke for the day, because we all know how we feel about John Turturro. So do us a favor, subscribe, follow us on that. We'd appreciate it. It doesn't appear as though Puck Guy will be joining us tonight. We just haven't heard from him.
Are we going to do the infomercial ourselves?
You know what? I don't have a plastic bag.
AJ?
Dude, I don't.
Hey,
you know what? Okay, imagine. Okay, do yourself a favor, people. Imagine if this bag. You're gonna have to use your imagination. Imagine for one moment if this bag was translucent, transparent. If you could see through it. This is what you're allowed to carry your shit in when you go into Levi's this weekend. We have these for only $19.95, so order quickly. We're not going to give you the number because that's how cheap and awesome these are, that you have to figure out a way to get them besides calling. So it's a beautiful bag, and it works for Levi's. Honestly, though, the Sharks did tweet out, if you need one of the official bags to use to bring the stuff in, you can pick them up at the Shark store at the Tank, tomorrow. So there you go.
Nick Gilbert commented here, if you're talking about deflated balls, that might be a personal problem. But that's none of my business, though. Hashtag where's Kermit? Hashtag sipping tea. So I agree. I agree. That ain't none of my business, though.
Hey, John. That's very much a hey, John.
You'll notice I have Lipton here just for the occasion.
There you go. Because none of my business.
Ain't none of my business, though. Hey, John.
Oh.
So yes. So there's that. There's your nightly infomercial. Yeah, but wait, there's more.
Oh crap!
Are you following me, camera guy? Because it's about to get real here. We're just $19.99. You can get your very own SF Giants hat. Yeah, I can't. I'm trying to be like the ShamWow guy or something here.
And it comes.
It
comes with its very own. And it comes with its very own San Francisco ShamWow. Right there.
Follow me? You're gonna love my nuts. Yes. Anything else? Oh yeah. Eric would also probably want us to mention take public transit if possible. They said that tonight in the game. Randy said that public transit is highly preferable to the hell that is getting in and out of Levi's.
I don't see there being too much of a hell to get in. It's going to be a hell to get out, especially if it's a tight game. Check out Pucknology.net. Eric did post up either yesterday or the day before a kind of a whole experience guide to help you out, whether it's There's probably links to BART schedules and light rail schedules and all sorts of stuff, and what you're allowed to bring in, what you're not allowed to bring in, all the goodies, all the details. Not to mention, of course, all the information for the tweet up. So go ahead and find that there. If you plan on going to the game, by all means, head out. I know he's going to be at wherever the 49er mile thing is, but I know they're doing a teal thing out there. Eric will be out there, so if you see him early enough, maybe you can get a button from him. Also, my girl, Amy Robbins, I found out, is DJing the pre-party out there in that same area, so say hi to Amy. She is fucking awesome. She's a former 49ers cheerleader, so be cool to her if you're a Raider fan or something, but she's a really cool chick and a hell of a DJ, so say hi to her. And I think, I don't know if there's too much left to go on. See, that's the whole thing. It's so much fun to piss and moan. We can go 2 hours when we have tons to piss and moan about when it comes to a loss, but a win, it's like, 45 minutes is fine. So either way, Pucknology.net, hit that up for the stuff for the Stadium Series. And, I guess the next time we'll meet up is a week from tonight, and we can discuss get into what happened with the Stadium Series, what happened on that Thursday night. Who is the team that we face after that?
I want to say
Detroit, or something?
but I can look at the. I know it's Detroit. You're right. Here's Detroit. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It is Detroit. I'm actually not gonna. I may or may not be here for that because I have a Pliny the Younger dinner I'm going to at the Brit. So
I respect that. And
get my Pliny on.
Yeah, well, and the bigger thing, too, being is that 8 of the next 9 are home games. So here's the time. This is kind of the make it or break it thing. That's why I'm worried about the trade deadline when it is, because at this point I think Wilson is literally hanging in limbo. But, that to be a buyer, to be a seller, it's just too close to call. Maybe there's another team that's going to come thumping on his door that brings him the right package or for whatever he's looking for. We'll see. We shall see.
If we go through a rough stretch here, I guess the one reassurance will be it'll close the door on doing anything that might mortgage the future. Like, even if we win the next 3, I don't think it's a good idea. But yeah, it's hard to predict what Wilson will do. I think we'll make some small moves. I hope we don't go, if we go for a blockbuster move, hopefully it will be for that defenseman we need, because we need a 1-2 type defenseman, preferably a 1, although those are very expensive.
Yeah. Well, it's not like we don't have. It's not like the Sharks aren't under the cap and they don't have a little money to spend right now. And if Eric is in fact watching right now, we're getting reports from people on the chat board and from myself, dude, your website isn't loading. Pucknology.net, the website is down. So maybe that's also why he's not able to get on the hangout with us tonight too. He's just like completely inept of technology tonight. Maybe that's it. He's in the Levi Stadium cone that forces all internet stuff away. Who knows?
You think he's just running it off his phone or something? Or?
No, I don't think he's running off the phone, but clearly there's something not happening with the internets and Eric tonight. So there you go. What are you gonna do? Like I said,
according to isitdown.com, it is down for everyone, not just for us. So,
all right.
But hopefully that will be back. When it's back, check it out. I don't know if it's been posted yet, but he will have a good rundown of all the information you need for Levi's. It is very helpful. So there you go. Anything else we want to touch up before we close up here, AJ?
No, I think that's about it. I know you, sir, are on call that day, so you will not, in fact, be at the game. I am working that night, so I, in fact, will not be at the Stadium Series game. Unless somebody decides to give me a ticket tomorrow, then I'm going to have to find somebody to. I'm going to have to miraculously have to call in sick. But yes, other than that, like I said, I'll be doing the post game Post-game party. What? Okay. Now I have to know. You're going to know this acronym. For some reason, it's not coming to me. But Puck Guy is apparently suffering PEBKAC. What does that mean? That's anybody? Anybody? Bueller? Okay, now we have to look it up. PEBKAC. We're looking this up now. This is an acronym with, I got it. Problem exists between chair and keyboard.
Oh, okay.
The
I usually go with the ID10T.
10T, yeah, the ID10T, yes. Okay, there you go.
Yeah. So, anyways, I think, yeah, I think that's about it. We're not going to drill on too long. As you said, when it's a win, usually we have a lot less to talk about because we have a lot less to complain about. It is nice to get a win, whether you think they're going to make the playoffs or not, because it just plain sucks seeing them lose, and hopefully this weekend's game will be a good manifestation not just of the Sharks but of California hockey, because I think the last thing we all want is the rest of the nation like, well, there you go, California hockey sucks, fuck them. So, to close out here, Sharks win tonight. It's very good. That's good. You know,
It's good.
that is good. The Sharks win tonight, 5-2, 2 empty netter goals there to kind of top it off. Overall solid effort, and yeah, we're definitely a lot happier here. What's up, AJ?
Oh, I thought I had something. Okay, never mind. All right, so we're good. We will catch you next time. For the next the next time we do this, whether it's the game after Detroit or the one after that, appreciate you guys watching us, interacting with us on Twitter and the chat board. Any questions, we don't care. Any comments, especially the funny ones, we'll read them all. And hopefully I can, by the next, fell out of frame. By the next time, I will have prepared a rant about Ray Ratto and Tim Kawakami. So tune in for that. And then maybe I can perfect my KMVR 95.7 one later, but yeah, I can go rant mode. It's worked out very well for Damon Bruce. He's built a career on it, so I'll see if I can do the same.
Yep, yeah, like I said, appreciate you watching. Subscribe below. Follow us on Twitter. I am at ChrisJDBS. He is at AJ_strong. You can follow Pucknology at Pucknology on Twitter. And Eric, you can follow him at PuckGuy14. We thank you again for watching. Sharks win 5-2 against Dallas. Have a good night, and peace the puck out.